The SEC network premieres this season. It'll have its first football games this year. We live in Los Angeles, so you're probably like me that we enjoy watching the Pac-12 network because it gives us an opportunity to see UCLA and USC play football. Oh, wait, I don't get it. Do you get it?
I like Big Ten network, so that's just.
Do you even get the Pac-12 network?
No, I don't get it.
Who do you have your cable with?
Oh, Time Warner.
Time Warner.
I don't have anything. I don't have anything. I don't even have any packages.
I'm Verizon. We don't get the Pac-12 network. DirecTV doesn't get the Pac-12 network. And I also, but it's okay because at least in September I won't mind because the Dodgers will be in an exciting pennant race, and I can't watch that either. It's not a big deal. I live in Los Angeles. I can't watch USC football and UCLA football and UCLA basketball or the Dodgers. Whatever. Who cares? I mean, Jesus, it's unbelievable. Close a deal, make a deal. I got it. I got it. Everybody has a tremendous amount of money. However, because ESPN is a part owner here of the SEC network.
They are.
Yeah, all of a sudden, what do you know? They're everywhere.
I was wondering how they were talking about it on SportsCenter. I'm like, how does this work? Did they even?
Since announcing the network's launch, it says here, ESPN and the SEC have reeled in more TV providers than the doubters expected. First came AT&T's Uverse, followed by Dish, Google Fiber. More recently, Cox Cable, Comcast, Time Warner Cable, DirecTV have jumped on board. Verizon Fios doesn't even make these articles. But usually Verizon Fios does what DirecTV does. They sort of, DirecTV is the sports leader and the other cable ones fall in. So I'm going to guess that I have the SEC network and I can finally have an opportunity, as I've always wanted my entire life, to sit down on a Saturday afternoon and watch Mississippi State play Radford.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I don't understand why is the SEC fans and anybody think there's the top tier teams like Alabama, Auburn, or whatever, but
LSU.
Their conference is not as powerful as people think. Like, why am I going to go watch an Ole Miss Kentucky game?
I could, it's funny.
Like,
I was thinking of Mississippi State. The only other team I could think of was Mississippi State and Ole Miss. It was
Vanderbilt. I'm like, who wants to watch a Vanderbilt
Kentucky would have been funnier than Radford. Although Radford wasn't unfunny.
I'm just like, nobody. I mean, I get it. And then all of a sudden, when football season's over, it's not like their basketball, like SEC basketball, is just so dominant.
I can't go out tonight. Georgia's playing Georgia Southern on September 15th. I can't be bothered.
I don't understand this. It's just this weird craze of like, because the SEC teams win the national championship. I get it. Great. I won the national championship with Ohio State, but that doesn't mean anything. I just want to throw that.
Did you see the South Carolina Citadel game? Oh, it was so, nobody cares.
I just feel like,
look, it's the best conference, I suppose, because it has the elite teams, right?
Like three of them, yeah.
It has three, but I mean,
3 or 4.
If you're including LSU, I mean, Georgia's hit
or miss.
If you go farther down to include it, then the third or fourth best team in the SEC is certainly no better than the third or fourth team in the conference I pay most attention to. We'll talk about the Big Ten in a second. The Big Ten with 12 teams. The Big Ten with 14 teams now, right?
But I'm like,
but the Pac-12, there are, I think, 6 teams in the top 25.
For sure.
I mean, UCLA is elitely ranked this year. Oregon is in the top 4, and then USC and Stanford, who has turned into the dominant team in the conference, and then you get farther down, and Arizona State's very good this year, and Arizona now with Rich Rodriguez. All these teams are good, and you mentioned Oregon State, and Washington is ranked this year. So, that's 8 teams we just named. You can't go to the 8th team. And because Cal is down right now, but we know Cal can play football. They have it many times. So, assuming most pass the network's carriage fees on to customers, that's you and me, wallets everywhere could be squeezed. Estimates vary, but Sports Business Daily reports that a monthly rate of $1.30 per subscriber is likely for in-conference providers. The fee is 25 cents in the 39 non-SEC states, so they'll crank it up. So we'll pay less. Thank God. Also, it's just not as interesting. I used to love when I was in college and ESPN late at night, or the new cable providers back when I was in college, which was in a few decades ago. And you could watch the Pac-10 then on Thursday nights or Saturday nights. And I loved it because the criticism of the Pac-10 would always be, they don't care, the fans aren't there. And I would always say, yeah, that's right. It's Saturday night. Some of them have dates. You know, some of these guys are out in the nice weather
Right.
and they're getting laid.
Right.
Okay, and they'll pay attention. They got it. You know, there's 40,000 people there. I'm sorry, there's not 68,000 people there.
Yeah.
It's not the only thing to do. And I'm sorry they didn't paint their face like some sort of, you know, like they got stuff. You know, I didn't want to paint my face because I thought the girl who I like might see me like that, and then she would never, ever, ever touch me.
I feel like I've asked that question before to girls. I'm like, would you date a face painter? And most of them are saying, absolutely not.
Of course they would. No girl you want to date dates a face painter. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. So anyway, they've struck these deals. They're going to pass it on to subscribers in those states, and you know, the rate is about 40% more expensive than what the Big Ten and Pac-12 networks charge. And as I said, the Pac-12 network is having massive trouble getting covered, and nobody will blink in this fight. The providers are prepared to let people pay for it, but the networks want to make sure that it's part of an overall package. They're not going to offer their services a la carte because they won't make nearly enough money.
Absolutely not. They would definitely won't make money if it was a la carte.
But isn't it ridiculous? So the SEC, they have a partnership with ESPN, and I feel like they strong-armed it because they had the ESPN partnership. Is there?
They know there's nothing else to do in the South except watch football in the fall. Honestly, I lived in Charlotte.
You know, I spent 5 years in Charleston. Yeah.
I love the South. Don't get me wrong, but there's not a lot to do.
I did not.
Except drink beer and
love the South.
I didn't either,
5
but
years. 5 years. I gave it a shot.
Oh
South
yeah.
didn't totally love me. No, I love you guys. Just messing around. I think it's crazy though that in Los Angeles that we have an elite football program in USC, one of the big five in the history of college sports. And then they also have one of the big five college basketball programs in UCLA basketball. And the Dodgers in the elite two, and you can't watch them on television. Like, I got it, these are big, giant companies that all make hundreds of millions of dollars.
Money.
And in the end, who gets screwed are fans who are willing to pay for it.
For sure.
They're willing to pay something for it, but they don't want to get held up. But the SEC is going to be on, and I can't. I mean, because when Kentucky plays Ole Miss, man, you throw the records out. You can't throw the records out.
My day is done. I'm just gonna sit there and watch everything. I'm like,
nothing's better than that.
Pre-game,
right?
Post-game, Kentucky.
Halftime show.
Yes.
You can't go eat at halftime.
I can't. I mean, I got to hear the discussion about Vanderbilt. Come on, man. You guys, I don't understand.
Vanderbilt's on the 3-point system. Like if you get straight A's at Vanderbilt, it's a 3.0. It's the only thing I know about Vanderbilt. It's true. I don't know what that is. I guess a C is 1 and a B is 2 and an A is 3. So there you go. That's my
What system I was on Ohio State? I don't know.
You were a football player at Ohio State. You were at the don't go to class system.
I went to class?
Yeah.
Mom, I went to class. Mom.
Yeah, you were in he's a football player. B+. He's fine.
It's like passing, basket weaving. Yes. Hey.